Now then, IndieMDB here, the internet's busiest movie nerd. Today we're talking about Plainclothes. Plainclothes is a 2025 US drama, the debut feature from Carmen Emmi. Set in the late 90s, it follows an undercover cop played by Tom Blyth, who after receiving an assignment to lure and arrest gay men for indecent exposure, develops a connection with one of his targets, finding himself torn between duty and desire. So this is a period piece, which makes me feel old because the 90s were 5 minutes ago to me. They were last week, weren't they? So it's bizarre not only to think that it was that long ago, but to realise how much has changed since then, especially in regards to homosexuality. Because when I think back, I thought we were quite tolerant, but then I also think back and think no one came out at high school. Everyone waited until afterward. So there was definitely not a welcoming atmosphere there for those people at the time. So the whole film sort of hinges around that unwelcoming atmosphere, and the main character's increasing paranoia around it, at being a police officer who surveils and entraps gay men, but also being a gay man himself and wanting to connect with other people, with the constant fear that someone else will be surveilling and potentially entrapping him. These feelings are amplified by the 4:3 aspect ratio, which feels like it's crushing the image and trapping us in there. Very often in close-up, and even on the occasions when we go to a wide shot, it's often moving or zooming or moving and zooming at the same time, so we never feel like we're safe, like we can relax. We're just constantly being sort of crushed in like this. And it creates a very subjective experience with all these, the lead character's sort of scratchy, his memories is glitching on the screen, and there's also different digital formats, so sometimes it gets fuzzier and stuff like that. Sometimes he's seeing through surveillance, or we're seeing through surveillance, and it's linking into everything. Just a general feeling of being trapped in yourself, but not allowed to be yourself. It's incredibly effective filmmaking, especially when coupled with the non-linear storyline, which keeps us mystified throughout as the story unfolds and we're enthralled. And it also covers up the fact that there's only... The whole film is basically cut between 3 or 4 different locations or scenes, but you don't really notice that because of the subjective nature of it, the way that it's jumping seemingly at specific moments in his memory and stuff like that, and because you're really in there with him, you don't. It was like over an hour in before I realised it. I was like, we've actually barely been anywhere, but we've travelled sort of so far within his mind, just not physically outside of his mind. And I think like a poorer conceived film wouldn't have enough going for it to cover up those budgetary cracks. I'm looking at you, Deadpool. But this one manages it wonderfully. The lead performance from Tom Blyth is equally engrossing. It's a very internal, sort of churning performance, and it contrasts very well with Russell Tovey's character, who's more in control of the situation and more direct, and he's been through this already and dealt with it in his own way, in a way. So those two sort of bounce off each other wonderfully. Well, I wouldn't say wonderfully. It's not a pleasing conflict there, but it's a very interesting dynamic, and very interesting that they're both British in New York for some reason. I don't know why. It's one of those films that does everything it sets out to do very well, but it's one that you might not want to visit again. I don't know. I don't know. Some films just have that effect on me. I'm like, that was really good, but I can leave that there. So yeah, Plainclothes. If you liked films like Fear X or Beach Rats, that sort of thing, then you'll like this one. It's showing in selected UK cinemas from today, so check it out. We are IndieMDB for everything indie.